welcome to a BBC News special. I'm Lucy Hockings. Our breaking news this hour. 11 people have been confirmed dead in an attack on the controversial French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo. 5 people are in a critical condition. These are the live pictures we have for you from the scene right now in Paris. President Francois Hollande has just finished speaking, and he told journalists that several terrorist attacks have been thwarted in recent weeks.
France today faced a shock, which is this is an assassination, terrorist operation.
Pictures from French television shortly after the incident showed journalists from the magazine attempting to take cover. We begin with breaking news out of Paris, where police now say 11 people have been killed and 10 others injured in an attack by masked gunmen at the offices of the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo. What we know is that gunmen burst into the building in the centre of Paris. Witnesses have been speaking to the media. Now, they have spoken of a sustained gunfire as the attackers opened fire with assault rifles. We are then getting reports that the attackers actually managed to escape the building and hijacked a car. We can see many emergency services personnel on the scene, at the moment. And we've also heard, as I mentioned, from the French President Francois Hollande. This is a BBC News special. I'm Jane Hill. Today's headlines. 10 journalists and 2 police officers have been shot dead after masked men stormed the offices of a French magazine. 10 other people were injured, 5 of them critically. France's president said there was no doubt this was a terrorist attack.
This is an act of an exceptional barbarism that has just happened here in Paris against a newspaper.
This video footage appears to show the gunmen escaping after the attack. It is believed they are still on the loose. In the next hour, worldwide reaction to the shootings at the offices of the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo. David Cameron condemns the attack as barbaric. Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel calls it an abominable act. Among those killed were the magazine's editor-in-chief, Stéphane Charbonnier, and 3 cartoonists. Hello and welcome to BBC News. At least 12 people have been shot dead in Paris, 2 of them police officers, after masked men stormed the offices of a French satirical magazine. 10 other people were wounded, a number of them critically, at the offices of Charlie Hebdo, a weekly which has printed cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad. Gunmen burst into the magazine's offices in the centre of Paris just a few hours ago and then fled the scene. France's President Francois Hollande has described the attack as an act of exceptional barbarism.
Our correspondent John Brain has our first report. You may find some of the images in his report disturbing. You're watching a BBC News special. I'm Babita Sharma.
And I'm Philippa Thomas. Our breaking news. Gunmen in Paris attacked the office of a French satirical newspaper, killing 12 people, including its editor-in-chief.
Charlie Hebdo had been repeatedly threatened for publishing caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad. The gunmen shouted, "We have avenged the Prophet." The French president rushed to the scene.
This is an act of an exceptional barbarism that has just happened here in Paris against a newspaper. A newspaper means free speech.
Well, this is the scene live in Paris. The city, as you'd expect, on the highest level of alert after France's deadliest terror attack in at least 20 years. The gunmen have not yet been caught. Hello and welcome to BBC News. A huge manhunt is underway in France for 3 gunmen after an attack at the Paris offices of the satirical newspaper Charlie Hebdo. 12 people have been killed, several others seriously injured in the centre of the French capital.
Well, masked gunmen burst into the offices of the newspaper armed with Kalashnikovs and a rocket launcher, opening fire. The paper has been firebombed in the past for printing spoof cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. In today's attack, the editor, Stéphane Charbonnier, and 3 of the best-known...
So very strong winds heading our way on Saturday. The warnings are on our website.
You're watching a BBC News special programme. I am Christian Fraser in Paris, where terror has descended on the French capital today, where suspected Islamist militants shot dead 10 journalists and 2 police officers. Three armed masked men stormed the offices of the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo before beginning a shooting spree. 10 other people have been injured, 5 of them are in a critical condition. The car the attackers escaped in has now been found in northern Paris. A massive police hunt is on to try and find the gunman.
I'm Gavin Esler in London. We'll bring you latest reaction, including condemnation from world leaders. President Obama describes the shootings as horrific. President Hollande said it was an attack against the very ideals that France was founded upon.
This is an act of an exceptional barbarism that has just happened here in Paris against a newspaper.
And I'm Atkins. I'll be bringing you the very latest information being posted online and being filed into us here in the BBC Newsroom.
Hello and welcome to this BBC News special. 12 people are dead after a terror attack in Paris on a magazine which published cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. 10 of them were journalists, 10 of them were wounded, and some of them are critically ill. Masked men armed with Kalashnikovs burst into the offices of Charlie Hebdo this morning, and they are said to have opened fire indiscriminately. Satirical French weekly Charlie Hebdo was in an editorial meeting. The gunman then escaped in a car after a bloody confrontation with police. The French president has condemned the attack as an act of exceptional barbarism. John Brain has this report, and you might find some of the images in it disturbing.
This is World News Today. In Paris tonight, police are hunting suspected Islamist militants who killed 10 journalists and 2 police in a terror attack. This morning, just before lunchtime, masked men with automatic rifles stormed the offices of the weekly publication Charlie Hebdo. Another 10 people were injured. 5 are in a critical condition. I'm Philippa Thomas in London, and we're going to take you now straight to Paris, where the French President Hollande is speaking. Let's listen in.
They were influenced, they were insolent as well, they were independent as well, and therefore left their mark on generation and generation of French people. I want to tell them that the message of freedom, we shall keep on defending it in their name.
End this hour by going back to Paris, of course, and looking at that outpouring of emotion on the streets. We'll go to the Place de la République. We've seen people there holding candles. We've seen them holding placards. The placards saying, "Je suis Charlie," I am Charlie. And behind the crowd on the wall there, it said, "Nous sommes Charlie." We are all Charlie. This is a BBC News special report.
I'm Philippa Thomas. Welcome to BBC News. In Paris tonight, police are hunting suspected Islamist militants who killed 10 journalists and 2 police in a terror attack. Latest reports cite an Algerian connection. This morning, just before lunchtime, masked men with automatic rifles stormed the offices of the weekly magazine Charlie Hebdo. Another 10 people were injured. 5 are in a critical condition. We'll also be going live to our correspondent Fraser in Paris, where France's President Hollande has called this an act of exceptional barbarism.
Our republic has been attacked. This is freedom of expression, it is culture, it is creation, it is plurality of thought. This is what was attacked by the murderers.
Condemnation from world leaders has also included President Obama describing the shootings as horrific and David Cameron saying these murders are barbaric. Hello and welcome to this BBC News special coverage. It is the worst terrorist attack in France in around 50 years. 10 journalists and 2 policemen have been shot dead. 5 more are critically injured after gunmen shouting Allahu Akbar or God is greatest attacked the offices of the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo. It's being reported that the 3 attackers have been identified and include 2 brothers of Algerian descent. Well, this attack happened in the French capital, Paris, in the centre of the city. And you can see from our map just how close the magazine's offices were to some